Hello everybody and welcome to Tiger Tales, a place where you'll find stories and fanfictions read and written to you by me, your host, Tai Tiger. Normally I would dive into a world of fanfiction that I've been writing for a while, and at the end of March there'll be something even better after March. But today is a little different. Today I actually give you a story, a chapter from a story that's actually on the Power Rangers Universe 19 podcast, which is usually written and read to you by Cosmic Dude 637, the host of that podcast. But recently, over the course of the last few months, me and him have been working together to do a form of crossover with Power Rangers Universe 19 and my story, Power Rangers Future Foundation. Well, here is the big actual crossover. Cosmic Dude 637 asked me to write it and read out, and then I edited it and gave it to him. And he said I could put it on this channel as it's a big standpoint for Power Rangers Future Foundation and also impacts the story of Power Rangers Future Foundation pretty hard. Not only that, but there's a good amount of fight scenes in here with Future Foundation, and also gives you a little more of a spin on the William Cranston story that I'm slowly building. So if any of this isn't making any sense, then you might want to check out the previous Power Rangers Future Foundation chapter, and then also listen to Power Rangers Universe 19 podcast, where we've had Adam Park and Dante Securis, my original Mighty Morphin Black Ranger, kind of go on a journey between the two universes. And now here we have an official crossover. So I hope you guys enjoy. Make sure that you listen to Power Rangers Universe 19 as well. If you're a little confused, you may find a few things there to help you out. So, with that being said, I give you our official crossover chapter. Power Rangers Cyberforce, Chapter 14. A little help from another universe. Haley sat there at her computer, her scanner trying to pick up any signs of Adam Park, when suddenly the computer pinged at Angel Groves. "Oh my god, yes, I found him!" Haley blurted to herself, then the ping disappeared. "What?" she called out, then it reappeared, this time in Blessington. "How does this make any sense?" Haley sighed. "It's called teleporting," a voice said behind her. She spun around to see Adam Park stood there, looking a little awkward. "You're here!" Haley squealed. She jumped out of her chair and hugged Adam. "Hey, yeah, long time no see," Adam chirped. Where have you been?" Haley asked. "Long story," Adam replied awkwardly. "Oh god, Dante," Haley blurted. "That's actually why I'm here," Adam grinned. "I'll call him right now," Haley replied, and sat back down and called Dante. The Cyberforce kids were all sat in the park, all chilling as it was a Saturday and they were enjoying the blue sky and the gentle breeze. "Damn, man, did you hear that the art substitute left without a word?" Mikhail asked. "Yeah, I thought that was kind of weird," Ruthie replied. "So, do you guys want to do something, or are we just chilling all afternoon?" Angelique asked. "It's too hot to do anything. I'm melting here," Justin moaned. "That's coming down later. I got training," Xander chimed in. "I might join you, actually," Mikhail replied. "Really?" Xander asked. "Actually, can I join you too? I haven't had a chance to train much, and I'd like to get some in," Violet said. "Why don't we all do it?" "Some training might do some wonders, actually," Izzy said. "I'm not wearing the right clothes for training," Angelique moaned. "Someone might want to wake Sleeping Beauty before he gets sunstroke," Mikhail chuckled, pointing at Fred. They all looked over at Fred, who had fallen asleep on the grass. "Anyone got a Sharpie?" Izzy joked. Justin stood up and kicked Fred in the shin. Fred jolted and called out in pain. "Dude, I was napping, come on," Fred whined. Everyone started laughing. In Universe 91, William Cranston walked out of a portal into the lab belonging to Dr. H. He walked up to her cabinet filled with trinkets and opened it. He pulled out 2 small crystal spheres, one completely white and one completely black. William waved his hands over the 2 spheres and they duplicated. William put the original orbs back into the cabinet and closed it gently. He then placed the duplicates in his pocket and walked back through his portal, the portal closing behind him. William walked into the land without time and space, and Takeshi was stood there shaking his head. "You're just asking for trouble, you know that?" Takeshi moaned. "It's a necessary move," William chuckled. He then opened a portal and he pulled out the 2 small orbs and threw the 2 orbs into the portal.
Have you been teleported to the past? Or de-aged to look like a kid again? Or have you delivered a message to some strange woman who asks questions all the time? And are you stuck? Well, call TARDIS Taxis, the taxi service that don't get you where you want to go, but where you need to go. To book TARDIS Taxis, simply call the number in last week's paper. Bookings are 6 months in advance. We cannot rearrange your booking, as it may rip a hole in the space-time continuum. Refunds are at the discretion of the Time Lords. Call TARDIS Taxis, and we will get you home. One day.
"You could've just shook me awake, you know," Fred moaned. "Dude, stop complaining. I barely tapped you," Justin chuckled. Suddenly, a portal opened in the sky and 2 small orbs fell out of it. The portal closed as the orbs fell and smashed on the grass. A burst of energy exploded from the shattered orbs, and 2 monsters formed. Both was armoured. One black, who held 2 swords. His shoulder pads had fur on them which connected to a fur hood around his neck. His mask resembled a wolf. The white one had 2 energy blasters resembled revolvers. He had fins extending from his forearms and a fin on his head, and his mask resembled a shark. "What the hell?" Violet blurted. "Looks like we got trouble," Mikhail barked. "Nice to meet you. We are the Koi brothers. I am Lafang," the black one growled. "I am Tui Fin," the white one chuckled. "Stingnet Senji?" Justin asked. "Oh, Stingnet. A name we haven't heard in a while," Lafang growled. "Wait, you're not made from data?" Izzy asked. "Oh, we are. But we are formed a little differently," Tui Fin replied. "Enough chit-chat," Fred said. "Agreed. Let's wipe the floor of these dudes," Xander grinned. They all hit their morphers in a flash of red, blue, yellow, green, pink, black, purple and gold. The Cyberforce Rangers stood in front of the Koi twins. They all dropped into their stances and ran at the monsters. Lafang moved fast, running at them. He dived into the group of rangers and swung his swords, slashing the pink and blue rangers down. The gold ranger tried to throw a punch, but Lafang swiped his fist away with the tip of his sword. Then he jabbed him in the shoulder with his blade. Then he kicked the green ranger in the chest. The red and black rangers ran at Tui Fin. He aimed his blasters and shot the 2 rangers, which knocked them off their feet. Then he jumped in the air and shot several energy blasts down, which struck the group of rangers. Several explosions erupted and the rangers were blasted onto the ground. "Man, these guys are tough," the yellow ranger barked. "What do we do now?" the black ranger asked. "Let's try the cyber weapons," the red ranger commanded. "Good idea, dude," the gold ranger replied. The rangers all stood and hit the weapon icon on their morphers, and their weapons appeared in their hands. The red ranger ran at Lafang and swung his cyber sword down. The monster crossed his blades, which then caught the red ranger's attack. The purple ranger ran behind Lafang and swung her cyber scepter, but Lafang spun on his heel and used one of his swords to block the attack. Then Lafang spun around, slashing both the rangers. The pink ranger jabbed her staff at Lafang, but he slid to one side and using his swords to push the staff down to the ground, before jumping up and double kicking the ranger. The Green Ranger aimed her cyber crossbow and shot at Tui Fin, who also shot at the Green Ranger. Both Tui Fin and the Green Ranger were hit by the opposing attacks, but the Green Ranger dropped to one knee. Tui Fin just stood there, unscathed. The Gold Ranger ran at Tui Fin with his cyber scimitars and slashed down. Tui Fin jumped back and dodged the attack. He then shot at the Gold Ranger, sparks flying off of him. The Black Ranger appeared behind him and swung his cyber drill bit, but Tuifin blocked the attack, then struck the Black Ranger in the chest with his fist. The Blue Ranger lashed out his cyber whip, and it wrapped round LeFang's ankle. He tried to pull the monster, but LeFang swung his foot up and around and stomped his foot back behind his other, using his strength to pull the Blue Ranger forward. He then swung both his blades, slashing the stumbling Blue Ranger across the torso. The Yellow Ranger threw both her cyber shurikens at both of the twins. They both deflected the attack, sending the shurikens back at the Yellow Ranger. She caught her own weapons. Then LeFang bolted for her. He was so fast he became a blur. He dashed past the Yellow Ranger, striking her. Sparks exploded off her chest. Then Tuifin aimed one of his blasters and shot the Yellow Ranger. The Yellow Ranger was thrown off her feet, and she demorphed. All the Rangers scurried to Izzy and helped her to her feet. The twins grouped up. "See you around, Rangers. We've got places to be. People to destroy." Tuifin chuckled. "Next time, we won't leave you living," LeFang threatened. Then both the brothers phased away. All the Rangers demorphed. "You okay, Iz?" Xander asked. "I think so," Izzy grunted as she stroked her arm. "We need to tell Haley about this," Angelique said. "Agreed. Come on, we better go," Mikhail told them. Then they teleported to the museum. Dante teleported into Haley's lab. "Hey, what's up, Haley?" Dante asked. Then he saw Adam Park stood there. "Oh God, Adam!" Dante yelled. He dived into his sensei's arms and hugged him. "Hey man, yeah, it's been a while," Adam told him as he hugged him back. "You're actually here," Dante said, unconvinced, tears now filling his eyes. "Yeah man, I'm here, don't worry, calm down," Adam chuckled. "I tried my best to be a ranger, to be a leader, to be the best person I could," Dante said through the tears. Dante, look at me," Adam said, then held Dante by his shoulders, looking directly into Dante's eyes. "I'm proud of you, man. You did good, okay? I saw you work with the Red Corners Ranger and fight Lucigon. You're actually very impressive," Adam told his student. "Thanks," Dante muttered as he wiped his tears from his face. Suddenly, the Cyberforce Rangers teleported into the room, and all of them looked a bit worse for wears. "Guys, oh my God, what happened?" Haley blurted. "We were attacked by two monsters who called themselves the Koi Twins," Mikhail explained. "I don't think I've ever heard of them," Haley replied. "They're bodyguards to the Cyber Archives," Violet explained. Everyone looked at Violet. Confusion filled the room. They were made by a specific code and placed to guard the Cyber Archives, a room where you can find all information of any kind. It's like a history book that connects to all forms of the internet and all things cyber related. It's a pool full of knowledge, and it's very powerful and can be very dangerous. The Koi brothers were cyberhumans, but over time they shifted, evolved into something. They stood there soaking up all the information, not just the good but also all the bad. It warped their minds, and then it also warped their bodies. Stingnet officially offered them to be generals, but they ended up backstabbing him. So Stingnet destroyed them. Or so I thought, Violet explained. "Glad someone knows what's going on," Fred sighed. Guys, am I the only one curious who the strange dude is standing here?" Xander asked, pointing at Adam. "Oh, Adam Park. Nice to meet you," Adam said with a small wave. "Oh, dude, you found him," Angelique blurted. Actually, he kinda found me," Dante shrugged. "Hey, can we deal with the pleasantries later, please? We have two highly powerful monsters who just wiped the floor of us. We barely made a scratch," Mikhail chimed in. I hate to say this, but he's kinda got a point," Justin said. Sorry, how can I help?" Dante replied. "I don't know. I mean, there was 8 of us and we barely made a scratch," Ruthie muttered. It's like we were strong against our cyber attacks," Xander commented. "We need to double our numbers or something," Justin said. "Yeah, wouldn't that be nice?" Angelique sighed. Dante looked at Adam, then grinned. "What if you did double your numbers?" "Well, almost," Dante suggested. "How?" Violet asked. You guys are forgetting I have a team," Dante grinned. "You want to bring the Future Foundation here?" Haley asked. "Yeah, why not? 2 monsters, 2 teams," Dante replied. "How do you know they're going to help us?" Justin asked. "They will," Dante's a good leader, and they'll follow him anywhere, Adam piped up. Okay, so we're just gonna bring several rangers from another universe to here? Izzy asked. Let me handle that, Dante grinned. Haley then spun around as her screen started flashing. We got the twins causing commotion on 16 and 5th, Haley told the room. You guys go slow down on our friends, I'll be right there with backup, Dante told the Cyber Rangers. Don't take too long, we're counting on you, McCall told him. You bet, Dante nodded. Then the Cyberforce team hit their morphers and teleported away. Dante turned to Adam. Wanna help? Dante asked with a small smile. Always, man, Adam replied. The Coy brothers stood there in front of the statue of the founder of Blessington. He's dead. Great, Tui-Fin muttered. Seems like we were stuck in those prison orbs for longer than we realized, LaFang growled. So now what? Tui-Fin asked his brother. I don't know. Those pests mentioned Stingnet, which means he's alive, which means we can't go home. He may be there, LaFang told him. We got a place for you. A voice came from behind them. The monster brothers turned around to see the teenagers they fought earlier stood in a line. You guys again? Tui-Fin snarled. Yeah, us again. Got a problem? Xander barked. We're here to stop you, Mikhail snapped, pointing at them. You guys don't have to do this, you know. There is other ways, Violet called out. Please, Tui-Fin chuckled. This is more than fun, LaFang chuckled. Then they summoned their weapons. The team dropped into their fighting stances. Didn't you guys learn from the last time? Tui-Fin sneered. Well, this time they have help, a voice said above them. The twins turned around and looked up at the statue. There stood on the founder's statue's shoulder was a 19-year-old boy with short black spiky hair, a blue top and a black leather jacket, leaning on the head of the statue. And who are you? LaFang barked. The team jumped off the statue, flipped in midair, landing between the team of rangers and the monster twins. He rose to his feet and turned to the monsters. Name's Luca. Time Force Blue Ranger. The team grinned, pulling down his sleeve, revealing a chronomorpher. The Cyberforce team all looked at each other, their faces painted with looks of confusion and impressed. Suddenly, two girls came running from behind the Cyberforce team. They both jumped over and flipped over the team, landing next to Luca. One girl was blonde, a 19-year-old girl with a yellow blouse and blue jeans, and a silver bracelet with a yellow gem on it. The other girl was a brunette, 15-year-old with a denim jacket with a glow stick necklace and a pair of denim shorts. I'm Chloe, Yellow Dino Thunder Ranger. The blonde grinned. She held up her silver bracelet and it shifted into the yellow Dino Morpher. And I'm Amy, in Space Pink, the younger teen said, holding up her wrist, revealing her Astromorpher. Then an 18-year-old boy wearing the Animarium Guardian robes walked up to the trio and joined them. I am Leo, the guardian of the Animarium and its princess, the road teen called out. He held out a Growlmorpher. Then Dante teleported in front of his team and stood there with a grin on his face. Hey to barge in, nice to meet you two. I'm Dante Securus, he grinned. The Cyberforce team lined up with Dante's group. More rangers. Just means more destruction on our part, Tui-Fin barked. You really think bringing another team in will help? LaFang asked. Oh yeah, Xander called out. Prepare yourself, Rangers, LaFang barked. I guess that means there's no better time than now, Mikhail said. Lead the way, dude, Dante grinned.
Smorphin' time! Scan DNA.
Mikhail waves his hand over his morpher and it begins to glow red.
Cybercharge!
Mikhail slams his hand onto his morpher and he is transformed into the red Cyber Ranger.
Scan DNA.
Xander waves his hand over his morpher and it begins to glow black.
Cybercharge!
He slams his hand onto his morpher and in a flash of black light is transformed into the black Cyber Ranger.
Scan DNA.
Justin waves his hand over his morpher and it begins to glow blue.
Cybercharge.
He slams his hand down on his morpher and in a flash of blue light, he is transformed into the blue Cyber Ranger.
Scan Scan DNA.
Angelique waves her hand over her morpher and it begins to glow pink.
Cybercharge.
She places her hand on her morpher and she is morphed into the pink Cyber Ranger.
Scan DNA.
Izzy waves her hand over her morpher and it begins to glow yellow.
Cybercharge.
She slams her hand down on her morpher and is transformed into the yellow Cyber Ranger.
Scan DNA.
Ruthie waves her hand over her morpher and it begins to glow green.
Cybercharge.
She then slams her hand onto her morpher and in a green flash of light, she is transformed into the green Cyber Ranger.
Scan DNA.
Fred waves his hand over his morpher and it starts to glow gold.
Cybercharge.
As he slams his hand down on the morpher, and within a gold flash of light, he is transformed into the gold Cyber Ranger.
Scan DNA.
Violet waves her hand over her morpher and it starts to glow purple.
Cybercharge.
As she slams her hand down onto her morpher, she is covered in a purple light. When the light lifts, she has been transformed into the purple Cyber Ranger.
Leo flicked open the ground morpher and pressed the center button, then held the phone to his ear and threw out the other hand. "Wild access!" he called out, and then in a flash of red light he was morphed into the red Wild Force Ranger. Amy flipped open the Astro Morpher. "Let's rock it, yo!" she called out, then pressed the button combination. And in a flash of pink light she was morphed into the pink In-Space Ranger. Luca crossed his wrists, then pressed the Chrono Morpher. "Time Force!" he called out, and in a flash of blue light he was morphed into the blue Time Force Ranger. Chloe opened the mouthpiece of her Dino Morpher, then pressed the button. "Dino Thunder, power up!" "Ha!" she called out, then in a flash of yellow she was morphed into the yellow Dino Thunder Ranger. Dante had out his Power Morpher. "Mastodon!" he called out, and in a flash of black he was morphed into the black Mighty Morphin Power Ranger. "All these colours are giving me a headache," Tui Finn muttered. "We're about to cause more than a headache," the red Cyberforce Ranger called out. "'Cause we're the Power Rangers Cyberforce," the Cyberforce Rangers all called out as they dropped into their fighting stances. "And we come from the Universe 113. And we're here to help," the black Mighty Morphin Ranger called out. "Power Rangers Future Foundation," the Rangers from Universe 113 called. The Monster Twins ran at the two teams of Rangers as the two teams of Rangers ran at the Twins. The red Cyberforce Ranger summoned his Cyberforce sword. He then joined with the red Wild Force Ranger who summoned his Lying Fang. Both Red Rangers struck LaFang, then both Yellow Rangers ran up to LaFang and side-kicked him. He caught both their feet and flipped them over. Both Yellow Rangers landed safely, then pulled out their blasters and shot at LaFang. He blocked the attack, but the Gold Ranger landed behind LaFang, and with his cyber scimitars he slashed the monster's back in a flurry of attacks. Then the purple Cyberforce Ranger jumped up and kicked off the Gold Ranger's shoulder. As she landed, she swung her cyber scepter down and slashed LaFang. Then the blue Cyberforce Ranger jumped in and roundhouse kicked LaFang. He then threw a couple of punches. LaFang managed to drop one of his swords and catch the Blue Ranger's fist. The yellow Dino Thunder Ranger jumped up in the air and shot LaFang on the shoulder, making him release the Blue Ranger's fist. Then the Blue Ranger threw his fist up and uppercut to LaFang. The green Cyberforce Ranger aimed her cyber crossbow and shot Tui Finn several times. Then the blue Time Force Ranger landed in front of the shark-themed monster and with his Chrono Sabers struck the monster several times. Before the In-Space Ranger jumped in, she kicked Tui Finn, then rolled forward before throwing another kick. Tui Finn pushed the Ranger's foot away, then aimed his blaster and took a shot, but the pink Cyberforce Ranger landed in front of the In-Space Ranger and spun her cyber staff in rapid succession, deflecting the shots. Then she spun her staff around, smacking the blaster out of Tui Finn's hand. Then the In-Space Ranger jumped up with her satellite stunner and blasted Tui Finn. The monster stumbled back. Then both Black Rangers dived in and both punched Tui Finn in the chest. The Mighty Morphin Ranger spun his leg round and kicked the monster in the head, as the black Cyberforce Ranger swooped in after and jumped up and spun around and kicked the monster in the back. Then both summoned their weapons. The Mighty Morphin Ranger swung his power axe down, and the black Cyberforce Ranger jabbed his cyber drill bits out, and both struck Tui Finn. Both monsters quickly regrouped with each other. We have to end this, LaFang barked. Agreed, brother, Tuathin replied. Then LaFang stabbed his own brother in the chest with his sword. At the same time, Tuathin aimed his blaster and shot LaFang in the face. Both monsters fell backwards and blew up. All the rangers stood and watched as the black and white energies formed from the remains of the monsters and formed into gigantic forms of Tuathin and LaFang. The Koi brothers were now gigantic. Of course they can grow, the green Cyberforce Ranger moaned. They want to play on a bigger battlefield? So can we, the blue Cyberforce Ranger barked. Agreed, let's do this, the red Cyberforce Ranger commanded.
Upload Cyberzords! The red, black, blue, pink, and yellow Cyber Rangers shout, and the Cyberzords come racing in. Upload Cyber Beasts! The green, gold, and purple Rangers shout, and the Cyber Mantis comes crawling in, with the Cyber Fox running behind it, with the Cyber Beetle flying overhead. All the Rangers leap into their Zords. Alright guys, configure Cyber Megazord, the Red Ranger shouts. Right! The other Rangers yell. The Cyber Tank splits into two and forms the feet. Cyber Drill transforms into the body and combines with the Cyber Tank. Cyber Gyro and Cyber Flyer form the left and right arms, and finally, Cyber Fighter forms the head and chest piece. Cyber Megazord online, the Red Ranger says as all the Rangers join up in the cockpit. Configure Beastatron, Green Ranger shouts. Copy that, Purple and Gold Ranger yell. The Cyber Fox transforms into the legs, with the Cyber Mantis forming the body and the head, and the Cyber Beetle combining to form the arms. Beastatron online, Green Ranger says, as she is joined by the other two Rangers in the cockpit.
The Cyber Megazord and Beastatron took their stances. The Beastatron aimed its cannon and blasted the now gigantic Tuathin, who retaliated by firing his own blasters. The Cyber Megazord swung his sword down and collided with LaFang's dual swords. Then LaFang kicked the Cyber Megazord in the chest, making it stumble back. Then both brothers switched places. LaFang bolted forward and struck Beastatron with several swings of his sword. Tuathin shot several blasts at the Cyber Megazord, not giving it a chance to retaliate. Tuathin cackled as he rapidly hit the Cyber Megazord with energy blasts. We are just having the same issue as before, you know, the blue Cyberforce Ranger barked. Guys? I think we have a bogey on your shoulder, the green Cyberforce Ranger called out. The 5 Rangers looked at the shoulder of the Megazord and saw a 20-year-old man with shaggy hair, a huge poncho, and one of his arms was covered in black armor. Who is the dude with the cool arm? The black Cyberforce Ranger asked. Guys, it's okay. He's with us, the Mighty Morphin Ranger said into his communicator. The guy held out his own communicator to his face. Logan. Megazord fights are kind of my expertise, Logan said to the Cyberforce Rangers. Wait, we getting another Megazord? The Gold Ranger asked. Just watch, Logan grinned. Then he pulled out a black flute knife and slotted the 3 animal crystals into the slots. He then started playing the flute knife. Haley, it's time, the black Mighty Morphin Ranger said into his communicator. Opening a portal to Universe 113 now, Haley replied. The portal opened above the 2 monsters and the 2 Megazords. 3 Zords came out of the portal. The Silver Wolf Zord, the Alligator Zord, and the Hammerhead Zord. Whoa! Hang on, those are wild Zords, the blue Cyberforce Ranger said confused. Wait, they have a Wild Force Ranger? It makes sense, I guess, the pink Cyberforce Ranger said. Logan then crossed his arms. Wild Zords! Combine! Logan commanded. The Alligator Zord's legs extended out and became the Megazord legs. The head folded down and connected to the chest, revealing the Megazord head. The Hammerhead and the Wolf Zord lost their tails and attached to the side of the Megazord, becoming the arms. Logan then jumped from the Cyber Megazord's shoulder and into his Megazord. He landed in the cockpit and placed the flute knife in the center of the cockpit. Predazord, awaken! Logan barked. Stop increasing your numbers, Tuathin growled. The Beastron aimed its cannon and fired at both the twins. As they stumbled back, the Cyber Megazord advanced with its sword and swung it horizontally, slashing LeFang. The Predazord rushed towards Two Fin and punched it with its wolf fist and jabbing it with its hammerhead fist. Then the Beastron swooped in and sidekicked LeFang before spinning around and kicking Two Fin in the back of the legs. As Two Fin dropped to his knees, the Cyber Megazord slashed the monster vertically, then horizontally. Two Fin fell back and blew up. "Brother, no!" LeFang barked. Then he turned around to see Beastron jumping in the air and aiming its cannon. Then the Predazord held out both its arms, and all three mouths of the three Zords that made the Predazord opened. "Predator Wave!" Logan called out. And the Predazord blasted 3 huge energy blasts from each Zord's mouth. At the same time, the Beastron unleashed its cannon. Both attacks hit LeFang at the same time. LeFang froze in place. "Looks like I'll be joining you now, brother," LeFang barked as it fell forward and blew up. The 3 Megazords stood triumphant, and the Feature Foundation team cheered on the ground. The Rangers all demorphed, and Haley and Adam met them in the field that the Rangers first met the Koi twins. Haley had a picnic blanket and basket. They all set up and they all enjoyed eating and talking. The 2 Ranger teams getting to know each other. The boys were swapping war stories. The girls talking about clothes. Justin and Luca chatted about cars. Chloe and Ruthie spoke about music. Amy got some fashion tips off Angelique. Dante gave some fighting tips to Xander. Adam and Haley caught up on old times. But eventually, the Rangers from Universe 113 had to go home. "Thanks, man." "Honestly," Mikhail said, holding out his hand. "No problem," Dante said, taking Mikhail's hand and shaking it. "Hey, if you ever want to come and hit them all, I mean, we are only a universe portal hop away," Angelique told Amy. "Thanks, girl. I might take you up on that," Amy grinned. "Hey, maybe if you want to grab your guitar and I grab my flute, we could have a jam sesh," Ruthie offered Chloe. "Hell yeah. It's a date," Chloe replied. "We got a race sometime soon, man," Justin told Luca. "Name the time and universe," Luca said, and the 2 boys shook hands. "Maybe, if you wanted to, I could show you the Animarium. You can meet the Wild Zords and see a more natural environment," Leo told Violet. "I would love that, Leo. Thanks," Violet replied. "Hey, man. Good luck on kicking my ass?" Dante chuckled. "Yeah, that's still so weird," Xander mocked, and the 2 boys hugged. Then Dante turned to Haley. "Thanks for the aid," Haley told him. "I would have called the Ultra Rangers, but they're busy," Haley explained. "I was gonna say the same thing," Dante replied, and he hugged her. Dante then turned to face a solemn-looking Adam. "Hey, man, I kinda have to stay here," Adam told him. "What do you mean? But Sensei, I just got you back," Dante blurted. Listen. The Ultra Rangers have a friend in need, and I'm the only one who can help. As soon as I'm done, I'll be back in Universe 113, I promise," Adam explained. Dante sighed, then nodded. "You better come straight home," Dante muttered. "Yes, mother," Adam mocked. Dante let out a slight chuckle, and the teacher and student hugged each other. Then the Rangers from Universe 113 opened a portal, waved their goodbyes, and walked through it, the portal closing behind them. Mikhail wrapped his arms around Izzy. "Nice team," Mikhail muttered. "Yeah, they are, aren't they?" Izzy replied. Then she planted a kiss on his cheek. "You know, your truck is not going to beat a sports car, right?" Angelique told Justin. "Hey, as my girlfriend, you're supposed to be supportive," Justin snapped. Hey, I support my man, I'm just saying." Angelique grinned, then wrapped her arms around Justin. "Can someone get me a barf bag?" Fred moaned. Suddenly, Zach teleported in. "Hey guys," Zach called out. "Sensei! Oh, damn it, I forgot about training," Xander said, smacking himself in the head. "It's okay. Sorry I took so long," Zach chuckled. "Hey Zach, if it's okay, can we all join in and get some training in?" Mikhail asked. "Yeah, of course, the more the merrier," Zach grinned. Then the Ranger team all started stretching out and spreading across the field. Then Zach clocked Adam. "Didn't you just leave with Trey?" Zach asked. "Oh, Adam started. Then Universe 19 froze. Everyone in Universe 19 froze, except for Adam. Adam sighed with relief as Shinon appeared behind him. "Hello, Adam. Shinon sighed. Then the portal opened and William Cranston walked out. William, you said this wouldn't be an issue. Shinon glared, pointing at Adam. It won't, William barked. Then William's eyes turned completely white. Suddenly, everyone's eyes flashed green and Shinon felt slightly woozy. What are you, William Cranston? Shinon asked. Sorry, can't share that, William huffed. What did you do? Shinon asked him. I alternated your universe. Slightly. Merging the memories of everyone who have seen both Adams, making it so Adam's story now makes sense. We cannot let anyone know where this Adam is from. The only person who knows that now is you. William sighed. Where have you been hiding, Universe 113 Adam, anyway? Shinon asked. As she walked up to Adam, she waved her hand over his face, and suddenly his face glitched like static. She removed the time mask that he was wearing, hiding the horrific scar that laid across Adam's face, the scar now on display. Well, that part's easy, William answered, and pulled out a small device and placed it on Adam's chest. Then the device extended and formed around him, and suddenly William's knight, also known as the fake silver morphing master, stood before Shinon. Oh, you're clever, William. Evil, but clever, Shinon growled. Thank you, Shinon. Now, if you don't mind, alternating universes takes a lot out of me, William said through a short breath. Fine, William. Thank you for sorting out this mess, I suppose, Shinon replied. It's okay, Shinon. William grinned, and both William and the knight walked through the portal, and the portal closed. Shinon phased away, and time unfroze. Zack looked through the field. Sensei, are we doing this or what? Xander asked. Yeah, sorry, I thought I saw someone stood here. Maybe I gotta lay off the coffee, Zack responded. Then he started training the Cyberforce Rangers. And there you have it, guys. That was the official crossover between Power Rangers Cyberforce and Power Rangers Future Foundation. Again, this is a pretty impactful on the Power Rangers Future Foundation storyline. Please go check out Cosplay Dude 637 on both his podcasts, that being Power Rangers Universe 19 and Storytime with Cosplay Dude 637, as he's uploading stories on both now. Also, go check out the third member of the Three Ranger Bros Studios, which is Mark, the Red Cornish Ranger, with his podcast Nerd Through Comics, where he's adapting comic books into audio dramas with some voice acting and some sound effects, and they're really, really well done. Some of the comic books that he's done is the Star Trek and Doctor Who crossover, the Power Ranger comics, and the Darth Vader comics, which I'm actually voicing characters in all of them. So make sure you go check him out. He's also started releasing his own story called Power Rangers Roy Britannia, which is really, really good, and I'm slowly and quietly trying to rush Mark to upload more because I'm just slightly addicted. Anyway, thank you all for listening to this chapter. Again, I wrote this. I normally don't write anything for Willie, but I wrote all of this and I recorded it, as you could see, and then Willie uploaded it on his story as part of the Power Rangers Cyberforce storyline. Make sure you go and subscribe to this channel. Make sure you listen to our association with Zero to Hero, a podcast where the Balkan Scholar Podcasting, Billy and Jim, two brothers who ramble on about some random ass stuff between hairstyles, Power Rangers, Gundam, Texas, and everything in between what I just said. Make sure you listen to them. They're a funny bunch. All three of the Three Ranger Bros have also been on there, so that would be cool if you checked them out. Thank you all for listening. Subscribe to the channel. Let's get to 100 subscribers. I believe that's doable, and I shall see you all next time.